how the Christian drama looks to me. It addresses this issue, right? So Christ is presented as a figure who's an absolute master of his tradition, right? He's debating with the Jewish elders when he's 12. So think about it psychologically. Is first you're a child and you're dependent on your parents, and then you have to make the move from being a child dependent into the world. But you don't move from child to individual. You move from child to group. That's your teenage gang. That's your adolescence. You have to catalyze your group identity. If you don't have a group identity, it's actually a developmental failure, right? But then you might think, well, wait a second. Group identity is necessary, but is it the highest? Does it represent the highest plane of moral achievement? The answer to that is no. You have to emerge from your group as an individual. Okay, so now this is how I read the Christian story symbolically, and this is a consequence mostly of having studied Jung. He said, look, you need group identity. That's the persona that you wear. You have to have a persona. You have to be able to wear a suit. You have to simplify yourself for other people. You have to be able to play the game. Right. Otherwise, you just have failed developmentally. But if you're only a persona, then that's a big problem, partly because when the group goes insane, so do you. Okay, now you got to emerge out of the group. Okay, so now you need a symbol for what emerges out of the group. Okay, so Christ is the symbol of what should emerge out of the group, speaking psychologically. Bear the tragedy of life, speak the truth, be willing to transform through death. That's the rules. Now, I'm speaking purely psychologically. You learn something new. You learn it. It makes you suffer. The part of you that's wrong has to die. You have to let go of that. And it's hard, especially maybe you learn something profound. It's like you have to regrow an arm. It's really painful, you know. But you identify with the part of yourself that transforms through voluntary acceptance of suffering. Yeah. And that's what Christ represents as a symbol. And I think that that's correct symbolically. This is what actually severed the relationship between Jung and Freud, by the way, because Jung laid out his understanding of Christianity in those terms. And Freud, it wasn't a Jewish Christian thing, though, because Freud was really, he was Jewish by ethnicity, but not by practice. No, not at all. He just didn't want to have anything to do with religious ideation at all. He thought that would introduce, he called it like a black tidal wave of occultism back into what he regarded as a science. He had his point, but I think Jung got the symbolic structure right. And so what does that mean in relationship to Christianity and Judaism? Well, it's really complicated because you have the prophetic tradition in Judaism, and the prophets are also symbols of people who emerge from the pathological group, who step forward courageously, and who reconstitute the group. Yeah.